Hey, what's up everybody? What's going on? In today's new video, I thought I would do something a little bit different since as I'm recording this video, I had my graduation today and I officially received my degree for a Master of Human Kinetics with a focus in applied human performance. So what I thought I would do in this video is just do a reflection of my degree, some of the things I learned, and I just thought I would share some information for anyone that may be interested in pursuing a Master's of Human Kinetics or any sort of exercise science degree in specific relation to a master's degree. So just to kind of flash back on things, now the reason why I did my master's in HK was I primarily wanted to upgrade my education, just upgrade myself as a person. I had initially had some intentions to go to physical therapy school. My master's in HK was more of a kind of fallback if kind of things didn't work out with PT, and ultimately I didn't end up getting into a couple PT schools here in Ontario, so that's why I came back to do my master's in Human Kinetics. And on top of that, I was also offered an entrance scholarship which covered about half my tuition. So that was kind of another nice incentive for myself to come back and do my master's in HK. And on top of that, obviously there's always graduate assistantships with some programs that they may offer. And so the graduate assistantship that I was being offered, also when you kind of tie everything together with my scholarship, that covered for all my tuition. So that was kind of a nice thing. So I essentially kind of was going to school to do my master's almost for free in a sense. But to kind of touch on things, just a brief kind of review of things. I started this degree. When I started it, I ended up landing an internship with the Toronto Raptors, and I was working with the Toronto Raptors in a strength and conditioning role. So I had moved from Windsor, moved to Toronto, got that experience of working with some of the best basketball players in the world. And this was during the Raptors 2015-2016 season. And then I eventually ended up coming back about halfway through the season just to finish up my coursework. And I finished up my coursework, and then after that, I then did my thesis project, which was titled The Physiological Effects of Adding a Percentage of Body Weight During a 7-Week Stair Climbing Sprint Interval Training Program. So my thesis project ended up taking a very long time, but I had learned a lot of things through that experience, and I recently just finished it up actually a couple weeks ago. So the goal with that is to get that published now in a journal. I would preferably like it, hopefully get it published in the journal Strength and Conditioning, but we will see with regards to that. Anyways, to kind of give a little reflection on things, some of the benefits associated with this, some of the best things that I've learned over the last couple of years here is that I would say one thing is I am just a better speaker, a better public speaker. And the reason I say that is because with regards to doing my thesis and the courses that I had to take, a lot of what I was doing was a lot of presentations. So doing lectures sometimes in certain classes, but also doing a thesis proposal and thesis defense where I'm presenting in front of a committee of other professors and people who are essentially grilling you on different things and your research. So you need to be prepared, you need to be able to be presentable and really know your things when you kind of are talking about a certain topic. So public speaking and kind of presentation skills was definitely a huge benefit that I found for myself personally. But another thing was reading research and just understanding research. Doing the thesis project specifically, I had read over hundreds of research articles, and then having a very good advisor as well who kind of taught me what to look for with regards to research, everything from the intro to methods to the results discussion. That really helped, and it really just made me understand research better and just become a better educator and just becoming more knowledgeable about certain topics. And I feel that's why I do have a strong kind of understanding of the spine and whatnot, is just because I can understand a lot of the research out there, what is published and what is good versus bad information or good versus bad research. So that was definitely a big kind of benefit from my degree, from what I've at least found. And then I would say another thing would be just a critical thinker, just being very critical of things and not really always giving into things, and always question things, always ask different questions about certain results or certain research. And that overall, I feel like really benefited me in a sense, because the one thing that I always preach to people on my channel when it comes to training or overcoming low back pain or whatever it may be is that every case is unique. There's not a one size fits all solution, and every case is going to be different. And it really depends on what an individual's goal is and how they respond to certain training programs or exercises or stretches or whatnot. And everyone is going to be different. So just being more of a critical thinker and really understanding things from that sense, definitely very helpful. So those three things I think are kind of the biggest three things that really benefited me from the program itself, I'd say. But I'd say the overall best thing that happened to me was the Toronto Raptors internship. Just having that experience working with some of the best basketball players in the world was literally, I mean, people would die for that position. That's people's dreams job, just to be able to train the best basketball players or work with a sports team like the Toronto Raptors for that case. And I was fortunate enough to get that position. And in a sense, at one point, I was the number 2 guy, in a sense you could say, for basketball training in Canada. I mean, only being one NBA team, but still I was basically the second guy in terms of strength and conditioning at that time, which is definitely something I'm very proud of in terms of myself to get to that point. But that experience, and then also just the research experience as well, getting both sides of the field was definitely huge for myself. And overall, I mean, the one thing to understand with the exercise science degree, it's not for everybody, but for someone that's maybe looking to further their education and study the human body and kind of different movements and whatnot, it's definitely, it may be worth it if you have the funds to do it, or if there's kind of some incentives where you have a scholarship or there's teaching assistantship positions that can help pay for tuition. Definitely worth it in my opinion. But the other thing to understand too is that every program is different. With my program, I ended up doing an internship and I did a big research project, which was my thesis, whereas I only needed to technically do one of those to complete my degree. And I ended up doing both just because I couldn't really turn down the internship position, and I'd initially come into it wanting to do a thesis. So I ended up doing both and kind of getting an understanding of both sides and getting experience in both, which is definitely one of the most beneficial things that I took away from the program itself. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of make this little reflection video for anyone that may be interested in pursuing an exercise science degree. The one thing I will say with regards to doing a master's is definitely you need to have a passion or an interest in the field, in which I do it and did. And it's not for everybody, but definitely can be helpful for anyone looking to really further their knowledge and education in that field of exercise science, whether that's maybe in exercise phys, biomechanics, sport psych, motor control. Really depends, but those are just some thoughts I would share with you since I just kind of did my graduation. And with all that being said, thank you for everyone who supported my channel, supported me throughout this journey as well. I've been kind of documenting this since I kind of graduated my bachelor's, so really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that's been there. And if you have any questions about anything, with exercise science, anything, or maybe a master's, please be sure to leave a comment below or just send me an email, whatever, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So with that, we'll wrap this up, guys. And I wish you guys all the best and a successful and productive day, and take care.